In a quiet little town surrounded by golden fields and tall whispering trees, there lived an orange cat named Ember. His fur was bright like the setting sun, and his eyes shimmered like warm honey. Everyone in the town knew Ember, not because he belonged to anyone, but because he belonged to everyone. He was the town's wandering friend, the silent listener, the curious explorer. Ember loved wandering through the narrow stone streets, brushing against shop doors and greeting people with his soft purrs. But deep inside, Ember carried a quiet emptiness. He had no real home, no warm bed to claim as his own, and no one he could truly call family. Still, he hid that loneliness behind his bright orange charm. One cool morning, when the fog was still hugging the rooftops, Ember decided to explore beyond the town's edge. He followed a fluttering leaf into the woods, chasing it playfully until the wind carried it away. Soon he found himself far from the familiar roads, in a place where the trees stood tall and shadows moved gently like old spirits. As he walked, Ember heard a soft whimpering sound. Curious, he followed it and discovered a little injured bird, trembling under a fallen branch. The bird's wing was bent, and its eyes were filled with fear. Ember approached slowly, not wanting to frighten it. "I won't hurt you," he seemed to say with his gentle purrs. Using his head and paws, Ember carefully nudged the branch away. The bird chirped weakly but gratefully. Ember stayed with it, keeping it warm through the chilly breeze. When the sun rose higher, he guided the bird to a lower branch where it could rest safely. Though he knew he couldn't heal the wing, he hoped nature would. As Ember turned to leave, the bird chirped softly, almost like a thank you. Even though Ember didn't understand the words, he felt it, a spark of happiness lighting his heart. But Ember had wandered much farther than he realized. He walked and walked, but the forest seemed endless. The paths twisted and tangled, leading him deeper into unfamiliar territory. By noon, Ember reached a large river. Water rushed fiercely, roaring like a monster awakened. Ember stepped back, frightened. But then he noticed something. On the other side of the river, smoke rose gently into the sky. A village. Hope stirred in Ember's chest. Maybe someone there could guide him home. But the river was too wide to jump and too fast to swim. Ember paced back and forth, trying to find a way. Hours passed. Then he heard voices, human voices. A group of children appeared, carrying fishing nets and laughing as they ran. One of them, a boy named Liam, spotted Ember and gasped. "Look, an orange cat. He's alone." Liam approached slowly and offered Ember a piece of bread. Ember, hungry and tired, accepted gratefully. Liam stroked his fur, and Ember leaned into the touch. It was warm, caring, different from the quick pets he got in town. "Let's take him home," Liam said to his friends. But before he could pick Ember up, the cat walked away toward the river, glancing back at the boy. Ember wanted help, not a new home. Liam understood. "You want to cross?" he asked gently. The children nodded among themselves and quickly gathered fallen wood, stones, and thick branches. Working together, they built a small, shaky bridge across the narrowest part of the river. "Try it," Liam encouraged. Ember placed one paw, then another. The bridge wobbled. Ember froze, terrified, but Liam stood close, whispering softly, "It's okay, little one." With a deep, brave breath, Ember crossed the bridge. On the other side, he meowed softly, a thank you from his heart. Liam smiled and waved. "Good luck, orange friend." Ember continued his journey, guided by the familiar smell of the town's bakery carried by the wind. After hours of walking, he finally returned to the outskirts of his town as the sun began to set. But something was wrong. A faint sound echoed through the silent road, crying. Ember followed the sound and found a little girl sitting alone on a wooden bench, tears streaming down her cheeks. She was clutching a teddy bear tightly. Ember approached and rubbed gently against her leg. The girl sniffled. "Kitty, I'm lost." Ember understood loneliness better than anyone. Without hesitation, he walked ahead, looking back every few steps to make sure she was following. The girl wiped her tears and walked behind him, trusting the bright orange guide. Through narrow streets and quiet lanes, Ember led her straight to the town square where a group of worried parents were searching and calling her name. "There she is," a woman cried, rushing forward. The girl ran into her mother's arms. "Mommy, the orange kitty brought me home." Everyone looked at Ember with amazement. Some people knelt to pet him. Others whispered about how smart and brave he was. But something unexpected happened next. The girl's mother picked Ember up gently. "You saved my daughter," she whispered. "You deserve a home, our home." For the first time in his life, Ember felt something he had always longed for, belonging. They took him home that night, gave him warm milk, a soft blanket, and a cozy corner to sleep in. Ember curled up, purring louder than ever. He wasn't just the town's wandering friend anymore. He finally had a family. He finally had a home. And from that day on, everyone knew. Ember, the orange cat, wasn't just special. He was a hero.